Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is qualifying ahead of the 2024 Miami Grand Prix. If you are new to the channel, get yourself subscribed because I'm live for every single qualifying at every single race from the Formula 1 World Championship. Maybe. But yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Salty Dog, Ernesto and Chrissy first in the chat. Welcome to the stream, guys. I'm just watching George Russell take Martin Brundle round in a Mercedes road car, and he is getting the full Tokyo drift going. He's not bothered about racing lines or lap time. He's bothered about giving Martin Brundle an absolute scare of his life. But what a driver. That's when you realise these guys are the best drivers in the world. Like, can just jump in a road car and just absolutely rack the wheels off it. But yeah, George Russell giving Martin Brundle a bit of a tour. But yeah, qualifying starts in about 15 minutes. And we are going to set the grid for the Miami Grand Prix. Tomorrow I'll be live at about 8:30 p.m. Race starts 9 p.m. So no more early morning alarms this season. Well, no, I don't think there is going to be any more early morning sessions. Hang on, this chair's like sunk a bit lower. I'm way too much. I'm too fat. Chairs like that. But yeah, welcome in, guys. Hopefully we get a good session. Hopefully it's not Mr. Inevitable on pole, but if it is, it is. We suck it up and get into the race tomorrow. But it was a pretty good sprint earlier on. If you was in that stream or you watched it anyway, the sprint race was all right. We had a great battle with Magnussen and Hamilton. That was probably the highlight of it. I love when Magnussen gets his elbows out and everything. And, give Hamilton a little bit of a push and a shove and a knock. And, they both went off the track at one point down at turn 11. But yeah, it was good fun. There wasn't much happening at the front, To be fair, Leclerc did have good pace. Like, he didn't let Verstappen just run away at the front like we've seen so many times. The gap wasn't 10, 20 seconds. The gap was 3 or 4 seconds at the end. So maybe Max was just chilling. Maybe the Ferrari is quick. But hopefully, because yesterday in the sprint qualifying, that chasing pack of like Norris and Leclerc and Perez and maybe one or two others, they sort of let it slip, really. They had an opportunity to get pole position. It was pretty close. I think Max only got pole by a tenth or so. So pole position's on for someone. If they get a perfect lap on, let's say Lando Norris gets a perfect lap, Max has a bit of a moment, he can get pole position here. Same goes for Charles Leclerc, maybe Carlos Sainz, maybe Sergio Perez. So I feel like there's a few guys in with outside shot at pole position here in the race tomorrow when it's 50 odd laps. You know your man's coming through. But yeah, maybe Max can be pushed down to second or third on the grid at least, to make the opening stint a little bit more exciting than it otherwise would be if Max just leads away from pole. And but yeah, the sprint was okay. Big ups to Daniel Ricciardo for clinching that P4. He was P3 initially. He got a move done on Sergio Perez in the first sector, in the first few corners of the race. Eventually, Perez got it back a couple of laps later. But Daniel Ricciardo held on very well with a chasing pack of, Ferraris and McLarens and everything. So big ups to Daniel Ricciardo in the RB for getting the P4 in the sprint race and the 8,765 points that comes with that. He'd be better off getting P4 in the Grand Prix tomorrow and getting about 12 points. But yeah, still 4 points for Daniel Ricciardo. Gets him off the mark in 2024 because he's had a slow start. And to be honest, I was, and perhaps still am a little bit, but this week's encouraging, a bit worried about Daniel Ricciardo and his future in Formula 1. But this is looking good. He's turned up round 6, first 5 races. I don't even really remember mentioning Daniel Ricciardo a lot. I know he had a shocker in Saudi Arabia. He had a couple, he spun and I think he ended up pretty much last. So yeah, I've been a bit worried about Danny Rick and, I hope he can turn it round. And this is the first first sign for a few years, to be honest, that, the first really sort of good performance from Daniel Ricciardo for a few years. Like, obviously, he's had, bits and bobs, but the first one where you go, oh, wow, what a job by Daniel Ricciardo. The first time I can remember saying that for a long time, since probably his Renault days. He got a couple of podiums in that Renault in 2019, 2020, and I think they said that was his best finish since at some point in 21. Which might have been in a McLaren. But anyway, yeah, big ups Daniel Ricciardo. Hopefully he can follow that up with a strong qualifying performance, coming off the back of such a great performance in the sprint. Maybe he can carry that performance over, get in the top 10, qualifying the top 10 here now for the main Grand Prix tomorrow, and get back full of more points, and then he can go into Imola, and the season's really begun for him and for RB. Although, having said that, RB have been pretty good. Tsunoda's picked up a few points in the first few races. And Haas, again, in the points with Nico Hulkenberg. Big ups to Kevin Magnussen for the big battle he had with Hamilton. He held up Hamilton and the chasing pack enough so that Hulkenberg actually got a couple more points for Haas in the sprint earlier as well. So Haas, repping Haas because of the Kevin Magnussen big defence. For, yeah, Haas, fair play. Fair play. They're playing the team game. That's not the first time this season that Magnussen's done a big assist for Nico Hulkenberg. I think it was it Saudi Arabia where Magnussen did the big holding up everybody. A similar sort of a scenario as earlier on. Held up the entire pack and got Nico Hulkenberg a point or two. So fair play. They weren't the best of friends a few years ago, Hulkenberg and Magnussen, but they're a good team at the moment, even though it is the final time that they will be teammates this season, because Hulkenberg has announced, if you haven't seen the news a few days ago, that Hulkenberg is going to kick Sauber, Stake, F1 team, whatever you want to call it, but it's only going to be that in that guise for another season. In 2026, Audi are coming in. That team is going to be Audi. That's what Nico Hulkenberg's looking at. That's what Audi are looking at. Trying to get a German driver. He's a solid driver. So yeah, Hulkenberg to effectively Audi for next season and beyond, to infinity and beyond. But yeah, so big opportunity for Nico Hulkenberg, and unfortunately Hulkenberg does now hold the record for the most race starts without a win, and of course as well the most race starts without a podium. Maybe he will get his podium come 2026. He'd be getting on a bit by then, because I reckon he's about 36, 37 now. He'd be touching 40, Nico Hulkenberg, but they're racing into the 40s now. Hamilton will go into his 40s. Alonso's already in his 40s. Raikkonen raced until he was in his 40s. So, these guys are extending their careers maybe 3 or 4 years more than they were a decade ago. Rubens Barrichello was getting on a bit, wasn't he? Maybe 38, 39. But yeah, racing into the 40s, and Hulkenberg's looking to do the same at Audi. So yeah, big ups. Yes, let's go, Mitch. Chrissy, roadcast must feel like snails. Yes, Brownie, welcome to the stream, bro. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, them road cars, they just have fun with it, don't they? Like F1 driving a road car, like I say, it must feel like... Well, when it's like a safety car period and they're behind the safety car driver is like absolutely pushing the limit. The safety car driver is driving round, not in a reckless way, but as fast as he can do. And these guys are just in the F1 cars are just in second gear, weaving around like, come on, get on with it. So, yeah, a road car for, even if it is a pretty souped up road car, probably 600-700 horses, that Mercedes AMG thing. But yeah, nothing on a Grand Prix car. But anyway, we're going to get this qualifying session underway in about 5 minutes. Oh yeah, we saw Leclerc have an absolute nightmare. That was in first practice, wasn't it? Leclerc spun and then we got stuck in the track. And it took about 10 or 15 minutes to remove that Ferrari. But fair play to Leclerc. You know, he come back from that horror show in practice where the car was just stuck and he couldn't do the 5-point turn to get it facing in the right direction, which was a little bit embarrassing at the time. But fair play, you know, he stuck at P2 on the grid for the sprint race and finished P2. So maybe Leclerc can go one better now, snag the pole, and let's have a good race tomorrow. Because Lord knows we're due a good race. I mean, to be fair, Australia wasn't bad, was it? But science absolutely ran away with it once. Do you know, Australia held so much promise because it was like, right, Verstappen's out. Here we go, Ferrari versus McLaren. This is going to be an epic duel. That science just drives away at the front. All right, maybe not. Maybe we have to wait on epic for another few years, but. Yeah, we'll see. 3 races in the US these days. This is the first of 3. So we've got Miami, obviously, now. And then the other 2 at the back end of the season. We go to Austin, Texas, probably mid-October. And then Vegas, I think, is like second to last race. Or it's at the end of the calendar anyway. Vegas, I think they still are finishing in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, 3 races in the US, so you could say, you know, the sport's growing in America, but, you know, how good's the product at the minute? Are we still riding on the coattails of a fantastic 2021 championship and a good Drive to Survive Netflix series that exaggerates it all? Probably. But let's hope we get a good session and a good race tomorrow. And then you never know, I might back Imola in a couple of weeks. We'll see what mood I'm in. By the time we get to Imola, probably have a look at the practice sessions, and then think, right, what are we doing? You know, I can't. You know, we'll have a look in Imola. I'm not promising anything. Oh yeah. I remember you telling me. I think you told me. When did you tell me that? Oh yeah, when I went on your channel the other week, Brownie. Well, it's a few months ago now. And you were asking me, like, what are the new tracks? And I think you mentioned, oh, it's the one in Miami. How good's that track? And I think I probably told you, the track's not very good. But stay in the stream, Brownie. The track's fantastic in Miami. One of the best in the world. You won't believe it. But yeah, then I think you got onto that and you said about that. Yeah, what a place to get married. But yeah, qualifying about to get underway. Car well tidy. Norris pole. I agree, Carl. Let's have it. Look how pale. I've got this weird camera and I can't switch this setting off, or I don't know how to switch the setting off, where look at how pale I go when I get my arms involved. I wish I knew how to turn that off. But, you know, I hold my hands up. White as a ghost. It is what it is. Oh, you're full of enthusiasm tonight? Yeah, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? The thing is, what I was thinking as well yesterday is I thought I can't just sit here and moan. You know what I mean? Come live and go, oh, another crap session and another crap season. You know, I don't want to bring that kind of a vibe. Let's have fun with it. And what happens, happens. What was the saying at the beginning of the season? We don't know. What was it? Anything can happen. No, what was it? We all know what's going to happen, but until it does, anything can happen. That's it. That's the slogan for F1 the last couple of seasons. We all know what's going to happen, but until it does, anything can happen. So before a session like this, it's not happened yet, so anything can happen. But we all know the end result. Until we get there, let's have fun getting there, though. You know what I mean? But look at the queue in the pit lane. Everybody's you see some qualifying sessions where half the grid stay in the garage for the first few minutes. Like, oh, I'll let everyone rubber up the circuit a little bit and get, get some grip in the circuit, and then I'll go out. Not today. Everybody is queuing up like it's a traffic jam on the M6, but yeah, we're going to get this underway now. The 18 minutes have kicked off. This is a little bit ahead, actually. This timer, this website in general, the live timings has always been a bit of a tricky one because it's a little bit of a spoiler. Because the live timings is bang on live, because it's like GPS or whatever, the live timings is about 7 seconds ahead of the television broadcast. Now, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't delay the live timings by 7 seconds. I can't speed up the television broadcast by 7 seconds. So I sort of try not to look at my own leaderboard because it'll go pop Norris, and I'm like, no, I haven't seen that, and then I'll watch Norris. So it's kind of a little bit, I can't get it in sync. It is what it is. The live timings is ahead of the game. It's like when you watch the football on like a bookies website or on with the bookies. You watch a football match like stats on like Bet365, it is absolutely bang on, and it'll be ahead of the Sky broadcast of the actual football game. You know what I mean? Because they've got to be bang on, man. They can't be 7 seconds behind. So it is what it is. You're going to be up my way, are you? Repping the Stockport vibes. Yes, CL2, how we doing, bro? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. And welcome to qualifying in Miami. Oh, Verstappen staying in the garage. He doesn't need to rush. He doesn't need to rush out there. He can let them all just think they're going to set a quick lap time. And then he can just come out and slap them up. But, yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this traffic jam exiting the pit lane. Daniel Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu nearly coming together. But who's got a 3-place penalty? What? Yo, back it up. Who's got a 3-place grid penalty? I'll have to remember to go back live again in a minute, because I'm behind now. Has Ricciardo got a 3-place grid penalty? Or is it Zhou? Oh, I don't know. Either Zhou or Ricciardo, but they have not made that clear in commentary who's got a 3-place grid penalty. But anyway, we're underway. 14 and a half minutes to go in Q1. If you don't know how F1 qualifying works, it's split into 3 sessions. So we've got an 18-minute session at the end of which the slowest 5 drivers grid position will be set and they'll be knocked out. And then the top 15 go through to Q2. That's a 15-minute session at the end of which the slowest 5 will have their position set in stone. And they'll be knocked out. And then the top 10 go through to the Q3 pole position shootout. That is a 12-minute session, and that is where we set the top 10 positions for the grid for the Grand Prix tomorrow. But it is Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen 1 and 3 on the grid at the moment. Still 40 minutes to go in Q1, so Zhou deserves the penalty. I think, yeah, but the penalty is not for what just happened. The penalty, they were saying, is for something that happened in China where they overtook Bottas in the safety car period or something like that. So I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to do a little bit of research on who's got the penalty on that one. But yeah, early laps going in. Early little benchmark laps are being recorded now. Sainz has gone purple middle sector. And I really hope that Ferrari can put the fight to Red Bull, at least in qualifying. You know, in the race tomorrow, it's a different game, as we all know. But maybe someone can get a little bit of Saturday night glory in Miami and, you know, get Max off his pedestal at least for the night. I'm pretty sure they both did. I don't know, maybe. Sargent might be gone next race. That talent. Oh, Kimi Antonelli. I don't think they'll chuck him in mid-season. But next year, he's looking like... The thing is about Antonelli, right? The thing is about Antonelli, has he been outstanding yet in F2? I mean, mind you, there's only been about three races in F2 so far this season. But I don't think, mind you, the Prima wasn't very good in the first race, but you know, Antonelli's not leading the F2 championship. Put it that way. He's probably not even in the top 8. So I mean, you know, at some point he's got to start proving that he's the one out of that entire F2 grid that deserves a chance. You can't just run off hype of previous year's performance. So I hope that Antonelli is the one, is the man, and can prove it throughout this F2 season. And yeah, but I think, barring a disaster from Antonelli, I think he will probably be on the grid next season. And I think Ollie Behrman will be on the grid next season as well. I think Ollie Behrman gets the Haas seat that Nico Hülkenberg's now going to vacate at the end of the year. I think Behrman to Haas and maybe Antonelli to Williams. I'd love to see Mercedes do it. I'd love to see Mercedes chuck Antonelli in. You know, if they can't get Verstappen, which I don't think they will. If Verstappen moves, that'd be major. That would be absolutely massive. It'd probably be the biggest F1 move in history, bigger than Hamilton for Ferrari. If Verstappen moved to Mercedes. But why would he, though? I mean, yeah, Adrian knew he's gone, but why would he move for 25 is what I mean. Why would Verstappen go to Mercedes for 25? Maybe for 26. But, yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's mid at the moment. Yeah, exactly. So, well, mid in your opinion. Exactly. They see him as a Max Verstappen talent, you know. Well, they see him as the next big thing. So he's got to prove that. But probably if he performs decently in F2 this season, he'll probably get a seat in F1. Just the hype is just absolutely carrying him at the moment. I hope he can live up to it. And yeah, it's looking good for Antonelli. But yeah, 10 minutes to go in Q1. It's currently a Ferrari 1-2 at the front, but now Verstappen is starting his first proper flying lap of the session. At the moment, then it's Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Piastri, Alonso, top 6. Ricciardo still there in the top 7. Then Norris, Hamilton, Tsunoda. But we've still got a ways to go. Yes, Wade, welcome to the stream, bro. More rather Behrman than Antonelli. I don't know who said it. One of the pundits was saying that Mercedes might throw Antonelli in next season because Behrman is like the guinea pig of, can you throw an inexperienced F2 driver in this current generation of Formula One cars, and can they perform straight away? Ollie Behrman ticks that box. So he might have opened the gateway for a few more F2 drivers where teams will be looking at it and go, listen, we can throw these guys in at the deep end and they're going to swim. Maybe Ollie Behrman's a one-off, and maybe he's the man that we should be talking about, not Antonelli. But maybe Behrman's unlocking the door for the likes of Antonelli, of the teams thinking, we can risk it with these youngsters and they're going to do a job. So maybe they'll both be in F1 next season. That'll be my bet anyway. I think both of those guys will get seats next season. It might not be fair on neither of them might win the championship. So it'd be a bit unfair if they don't win the championship, they get promoted, and the guy that wins it is put on the sidelines, like the last few champions. Where's Teo Porcher? And there's a couple of other names as well, you know. Only like 1 in every 3 F2 champions that even gets promoted. You know, there's a lot that just fall by the wayside, end up in Formula E or World Endurance Championship, or on the sidelines as a reserve driver for a Formula One team. So it's a bit of a shame. He went top 10, Daruvula. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Daruvula, he was a champion, wasn't he? You know? Where's he? You know, reserve driver. How long do you want to be a reserve driver for? Claire Williams is in the garage. Liam Lawson. Yeah, Liam Lawson. Maybe they'll give Liam Lawson a chance. I mean, it depends on this Ricardo. Depends on this Ricardo revolution now. Ricardo Renaissance that we're getting. Anyway, let's have a look what's happening in the session. We are getting into the closing stages of Q1. Hamilton's gone purple, sector 1. Okay. They were struggling in sprint qualifying, were Mercedes. I think they started like 11th and 12th or something like that in the for sprint. George Russell way outside the points in the sprint. Hamilton, I think, got P8 and 1 point, but goes third. That's not bad, really. Verstappen obviously at the front, but the gap's not massive. 10th and a half covers the top 4. And here comes Ocon across the line, goes P7. Okay, not bad. Not too bad. Russell goes P8 in the Mercedes. Could probably do with a little bit more pace than that. But yeah, Tsunoda goes P12. And here comes Zhou Guanyu across the line. Only 19th. Zhou Guanyu not looking good on getting through this session at all. Sainz goes quickest by 86 thousandths of a second. Okay. Like I say, I think if one of these Ferrari drivers hooks up a perfect lap, or maybe even a cheeky Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri, they hook up a perfect lap and Verstappen makes a small mistake like we saw in the sprint qualifying, I think they've got to snatch it off him. If Verstappen gets a perfect lap in, or, you know, a great lap, then it's probably, signed, sealed, delivered. But you never know until it happens. Or what is it? We all know what's going to happen, but till it does, anything can happen. But it's clear, no, to be fair, all jokes aside, it's looking extremely close at the front for now in Q1. When we get to Q3, they turn the engines up. We'll have another look. But right now, extremely competitive. Look at that. Daniel Ricciardo tapping the wall on the exit of turn 16. Replay on board with Max Verstappen, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Is anything going to happen? He's not in the way. I don't think the guy in the... I don't think the Alpine's in the way, necessarily. How much time's that going to cost you? He's off the track. Oh, now that's traffic. Now that's traffic for Logan Sargent. That's someone getting in your way. Yeah, Tsunoda. Now that's someone getting in the way there. The one with the Alpine on the outside and Verstappen, but yeah, Tsunoda might get a penalty for that. That was wrong place, wrong time. And the thing is, the team, the engineer, should be telling Tsunoda to get out of the way. Logan Sargent coming up quick. Oh, one of the best drivers ever. Juan Pablo Montoya. I used to love watching Juan Pablo Montoya take the fight to Michael Schumacher when I was growing up. I used to love that Montoya really gave Michael a hard time. I used to love that. In like 2002, 2003. Whoa, don't crash in the pit lane, guys. But yeah, last 3.5 minutes of Q1. You're driving past the track right now, are you? Give us a wave. Gives a wave. Suede, gives a wave. You going tomorrow, aren't you? You've missed the Ed Sheeran concert, Suede. What are you doing? He might be playing tomorrow, but I seen that Ed Sheeran was doing a little bit of a... Ed Sheeran was on stage before. Whether that floats your boat or not, certainly doesn't with me, but he sold a lot of records, so who am I to say it's a load of rubbish? But yeah. So let's have a look at the bottom 5 now. Then with 3 minutes to go, we can start. It starts to become relevant now. Who's in the knockout zone with sort of one more attempt to go? So it's Sargent, Gasly, Magnussen, Zhou, and the graphics gone off the screen. Albon. So what have we got? What have we got then? What's the scenario? We've got both Williams down there at the minute. Oh, there's a lot of people being held up. Leclerc complaining as well about being held up. Or someone in his way. So yeah, we've got both Williams down there. We've got a Pierre Gasly. We've got a Kevin Magnussen down there. Zhou down there. And they're all queuing up in the pit lane again to get out with 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. And they're going to be cutting it fine to get round and start your flying lap before the time runs out. How it works with the timer as well, if you're not familiar with Formula One, is because you might think, the time is at 0, session over. That's not really how it is, which is counterintuitive, isn't it? If you're new to the sport, you'd be like, well, the time's at 0. What are they still going for? But as long as you started your flying lap before the timer is 0, you can complete that lap. So that's what happens. The timer is 0, and then everybody's crossing the line. Obviously people that have been watching it for years are like, well, yeah, obviously we all know that, but there might be some people watching it for the first time, and that doesn't really make sense. So yeah, as long as you've started your flying lap before the timer is 0, you can complete that lap. So that's why it sort of still lingers on for another minute and a half, even though the time's at 0. But yeah, the final laps are starting now then. Look at the downforce. Even with the Haas, that's not the quickest in the world. It's just fantastic going through that first sector. Where are you going to be, Suede? Where are you? Have you got a grandstand seat, or have you got like a general admission where you can sort of stand where you want? Because that first sector would be probably where I want to be in terms of watching the cars, showing off the downforce, or however you want to say it. Because the 2 races I've been to only a couple, and both of them, I was sat in a place where the cars were trundling past at like 20, 30 mile an hour because it was like a hairpin bend. I'd love to go to Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone where they're tearing past, through Maggots and Beckett's at 150 mile an hour. That's what I want to see. I'm done with the hairpin grandstand seat, that's for sure. But anyway, 8 seconds ago, let's get back into what is going on. Bottom 5, Magnussen improves, but not by enough. I think it's looking like Magnussen's going to be out of qualifying, P17 at best for Kevin after the heroic efforts in the sprint. But Sargent might be through on that. Sargent goes P12. Now, it depends what the guys behind him do, as Albon goes P8 and he's definitely through on that. So Albon definitely through. Sargent maybe through. Ocon goes P8. Wow, Esteban Ocon. Alpine have, starting to improve. Alpine. P8, not bad. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda, P9. Sargent might be in trouble now. Sargent's in trouble now. Yeah, no, Sargent's in trouble now. His home race as well. That's why I'm mentioning him a lot, because I'd like him to get through at his home Grand Prix. Well, Ricciardo's out. P4 in the sprint, but P17 on the grid at best for the Grand Prix. Oh no. Right, so Russell goes P7, so Mercedes are safe. Okay. Sargent's in trouble. But here comes the last guys across the line then. So here we go. What are we saying, Lance Stroll? Bang! P10 for Lance Stroll. He's through to Q2. This is throwing the cat amongst the pigeons. Bottas improves, but not by enough. Bottas out. Sargent out. Ricciardo out. I think that is the bottom 5 there now as Zhou crosses the line. And that is it. Both Saubers out. So bottom 5 then. Bottas P16. Sargent P17. Ricciardo P18. Magnussen P19. Zhou Guan Yu P20. That is Q1 done and dusted. And everybody else through to Q2, including both. I don't know where I was going with both. I was going to say both Hasses, but one's out. Yeah, so we've only got... Yeah, Gasly. Both Alpines. That's where I was going with that. Both Alpines through. Gasly's gone P5 at the end there, at the death. I missed that. I tell you what, Alpine, no longer the slowest car on the grid, maybe. Because first couple of races of the season, Alpine were in the bin, but they are dragging themselves into that midfield scrap. Come on, Pierre. Verstappen already on top. I know, CL2. It's making this channel very difficult for me to do. If you watched the video yesterday. But yeah. I try and ignore that. But I do. I mean, it might be a little bit foolish, but I do kind of think that there's 3 or 4 drivers in a good chance for pole position tonight, to be honest. So don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. Yeah, so Bottas, Sargent, Ricciardo. I'm surprised by Ricciardo. You know, he was turning it round, and now he's at the back again. What have they done? I mean, the thing is with that midfield battle, you know, you sort of got a top 5 teams and a bottom 5 teams. And those guys in the bottom 5, it's so competitive there that you make one mistake can be the difference between qualifying 11th or 19th, you know. So Ricciardo might have just made a little mistake, not quite got the lap hooked up, and he's bumped down by everybody that, you know, the 7 or 8 drivers that have got a great lap together in similar machinery. So it's a tough gig out there if you're in an RB, you know, an RB, a Sauber, a Haas, a Williams, and an Alpine. You fighting tooth and nail just to maybe scavenge a point, you know. So it's not easy. You know, one good result doesn't guarantee the next for any of them, but especially in that midfield pack. So Ricciardo at the back. Where's Sargent P17 at his home Grand Prix? I was hoping he could make a cheeky Q2 appearance, but not to be. Alonso just scraping through there in 15th. I didn't really clock that. Hulkenberg again through. Albon through. Tsunoda through. Stroll P10 through. I think that the sort of standout performance there in Q1 has to be Pierre Gasly P5. Obviously, it's at the end of the session with you know, the track rubbered in a little bit more, but fair play. Gasly comfortably through, and let's see if he can get through to Q3. Talk about peaks and troughs for Daniel Ricciardo. 2-3 hours ago, he's on top of the world, P4 in the sprint. 3 hours later, brother. All right, we're going to see what actually happened. We're going to see... Is this down at... Is it turn 7? Yeah. So then he's lost the run all the way up to turn 11. Oh, and the final corner as well. Wow, yeah. So a couple of mistakes from Daniel Ricciardo on that lap, yeah. Coming out that final hairpin. And a bag full of oversteer. Nearly hitting the wall. Wrestling it out of the corner, and P18 on the grid. Here we go for Kevin Magnussen then. What happened to Magnussen, who will start the race from 19th on the grid? Oh, so he can't even get near the... Oh, that's horrendous. There's no way. That's Magnussen's flying lap. He ought to be fuming with that. Yeah, Magnussen would be fuming with that. He couldn't even get anywhere near that apex. down at that hairpin. He couldn't get anywhere near the apex. Just too much traffic there for Magnussen, and he has every right to be fuming at that one. Oh yeah, help a brother out. Yeah, drop a like on the stream, guys, if you haven't already, and get yourself in the stream tomorrow night, 8:30 for the Miami Grand Prix. Lights out, 9 p.m. UK time. So at least sociable hours, because Lord knows, Australia, China and Japan were not an easy... Those alarms were going off at some wild times for those qualifying sessions and sprint races and stuff. I think in China there was like a 4 a.m. sprint race. Brutal. But we got through it. And now we're on evening sessions, so decent. Yeah, decent times at least, TL2, you know. It's been a bit tricky. Yes, JJ, welcome to the stream, bro. Hope you're doing good. Welcome in. We're just about to get Q2 underway, or it is underway, but no one's out on track yet for Q2 top 15. And this is all about getting into that Q3 top 10 position. Sargent was hoping that he was going to be in, but in the end he wasn't. But yeah, this session all about being in that top 10 to get through to Q3. So let's get it underway. What are these yachts? So it's a boat on concrete. That has got to be one of the most pointless things. I mean, they've been doing it for 2 years, well, since this race. Just putting boats in the middle of the infield on concrete painted blue to make it seem like a harbour is baffling. But anyway, yeah, everybody piling out of the pits now. What do we think of this Ferrari livery with the blue wheel covers and a blue stripe and a blue front wing? Awful, if you ask me. They should have gone for it. I said this in the sprint before. Ferrari should have gone for the full blue Ferrari. They should have gone. Like, I saw some... I don't know whether it was on Facebook or whatever, but I saw some renders, like concept ideas of what the blue Ferrari could look like. Amazing. The reality, not so much. But like I said before, I do like that RB special livery. I must admit, the RB special livery slaps. 9 out of 10 for that one. But Ferrari, Piero Ferrari, did you give the thumbs up to that livery? Because if you did, what the hell? And I wonder, you know, because Ferrari have got this sponsorship by HP, I wonder if this white bit on the front and rear wings will remain. I think the white flaps on the front and rear wings with the HP logos on will remain. That's my little prediction when they go back to the yellow stripe instead of the blue. But I mean, is that big news? Hold the front page. But come on, guys, let's get out there. There's 11 minutes to go now. Wasted the first 4 minutes of the session sat in the garage. You'll be at work for the race entirely. I'll be at work until I'll be home about 6:30. So it's all good. I'm home. Get home, chill out for an hour, bang, Miami Grand Prix, let's go. But yeah, I'll try and take you through it, Mitch. You know, if you can't watch it and it's and you're in the stream, you know, I'll try and keep you updated. Yeah, Ferrari livery, shocking, isn't it, JJ? Anyway, right, here we go then. 10.5 minutes to go. Are we actually going to get some laps on the board, or representative laps on the board now? Verstappen starts a proper lap then. Yeah, all 15 are out on track. 10 minutes to go. Let's do it. You be tuning in. Appreciate you, bro. Always appreciate you. And obviously all the regulars that back every stream. And don't worry, whatever the case, I'll still be coming live. There'll still be the channel will continue on in whatever I decide. You know, whether we do the sim racing a lot more and you know, it's not the end. It was just a moan. But we'll see about Imola. We'll see. It'd be a shame to pack it in, wouldn't it? But anyway, let's see if we get a good race tomorrow night. I hope so. Norris purple sector 2. And Piastri beats that. Okay. So here we go then. Verstappen is going to set a proper lap time. And across the line he comes. P1. 127.972. 3/10 quicker than Tsunoda and Perez. But Norris beats that. Okay. By a 10th. Interesting. Go on, Piastri. I dare you. Boom. Go on. Piastri. P1. Denver, where are you? Piastri's stuck it on pole position. Well, not yet. He's quickest at the moment with 8 minutes to go in Q2 and an entire Q3 session, but you got to count your chickens. Oh, Leclerc beats that by a 10th. Okay, game on. Game on. Leclerc, Piastri, no. So Verstappen was on old set of tyres. You could have told me that. Right, let's have a look at this then. So Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari. Then Verstappen, Tsunoda, Perez. 2 Mercs. Here comes Fernando Alonso then. Round the final couple of corners that are flat out to the line. And boom. Only P11. It didn't deserve the boom at all. If you've been the channel off, then I'm binning you. I told you keep going. No, I'm not binning the channel off, but the watch-alongs are becoming a bit tricky when it's as predictable as it is. But I don't want to sit here and moan about that for another half an hour. But yeah, it's becoming a bit difficult to do, Brownie, when the sport is in the spot that it's in. But yeah, we've got a yellow flag out on sector 3. What's happened here? Lando Norris. What's he done? Okay, he slapped the curb. Okay, but why would that cause a yellow flag? I don't think that's the reason why the yellow flag came out. Okay. Oh, so has Albon spun or something? We need to see a replay of what happened to Alex Albon, but he's got underway again. All good. Lando wins the race. Oscar third. Mate, if we get a podium of Norris, Sainz, Piastri, you best believe I'm back live for Imola. It's game on again. It is game on, mate. It's switch my enthusiasm switch back on, mate. Big up to that prediction. We need it. The sport needs it. So Albon went too deep on the brakes into the hairpin, it seems like. Stopped before he hit the wall, whacked it in reverse, and has got back going again. Oh, fair play. Lando wins. I mean, CL2, mate. You know, I'm not religious, but I'll be praying on that one. No Verstappen in the top 3. Bold. I haven't done predictions for this race, actually. Nah, I crashed. Did he hit the wall? Genuinely. It didn't look like it to me. Only reason he ain't there. He didn't touch the wall, though, did he, Albon? Or did he? Have I? Think he did, but no damage. Like just tapped it. Yeah. 5 minutes to go, and everyone is back in the pits to get a new set of tyres on and go for one more run at the end of the session. Yeah, a little damage. Yeah, it'll change the nose if he did hit the wall. Max Verstappen. Norris on the mediums in third. Nico Hülkenberg, P6 in the Haas. Why are Aston Martin going out on scrub sets of tyres? Yeah, there's different strategies going on here. Different. Kevin Magnussen's got eight points on his license. If you hit 12, you get a race ban. Magnussen's on 8. I'd be on 12 after the first race. Oh, Kevin Magnussen. He's all right. Already. It's in a 12-month period, so it's carried over from season to season. So in the last 12 months, yeah. It's not very common to give out them, though. I don't really know what the rules are with regarding to when they give those penalty points out. It's not really, I don't think it's really defined. Yes, Todd, how we doing, bro? Welcome to the stream. No, it's over the last 12 months. Kind of like the watch hours on YouTube. Which is a pain. How are we doing, Todd? We're just getting towards the closing stages of Q2 now. See who can get through to the top 10 shootout. I don't understand why Aston Martin have gone out on scrub set of tyres, and I don't understand why some drivers are out there on the medium. I think they were saying George Russell's gone out on the medium. Really? Well, we'll see. Maybe they think they can go quicker on the medium. Oh, yeah, they're still going. Oh, yeah, still going okay. We're getting towards the end of Q2, and then we'll have a top 10 shootout for pole position after that. So, yeah, we've still got, 20-odd minutes to go? Well, 1 minute 20 of this session, and then a 5-minute break, and then, boom, 12 minutes of Q3. But, yeah, let's do it. Alonso is on a lap. Out of turn 8 comes then. Only 33, yeah. Only 0.03 of a second off in Sector 1 for Fernando Alonso. Down in P14 at the moment, so needs a lap with a minute to go. They can't really use softs a lot on this race. Yeah, they can't use softs a lot. Medium's perfect balance. Yeah, so is that what they're thinking? Hamilton personal best in Sector 1 by 0.4. I need it. Hamilton down there in P12. Tsunoda sets a lap and goes P6 in the RB. Okay, let's go, Yuki. But here comes Fernando Alonso then around the hairpin, and now gunning it to the line. Round the left-hander, round the right-hander, flat out, cross the line. Alonso only 13th on the scrub set of tyres. What's the strategy there? as Perez goes third in the Red Bull. But Alonso might be out of qualifying here in Q2 as Lance Stroll now crosses the line to go P9. He's in for now, but you're looking sketchy in P9 with another 12 drivers across the line behind you. That's looking a bit... Well, Stroll's going to be out, and let's face the music. Stroll's going to be out with that. Here comes Hamilton, P2. Where did that lap time come from? Oh, I like that special edition Mercedes cap that kid's got on, you know. I want to get one of them. Miami special edition cap. Looking sick. Anyway, Russell goes P8 in the Mercedes. Yeah, so I think Stroll and Alonso are both out then in Q2. What can Esteban Ocon do out of the final corner? Verstappen goes second, so easily safe with that. And here comes Ocon. Go on, I dare you. Oh, no, he's not going to do it. Ocon's out. What can Gasly do? What can Albon do? Here we cut to on board Alexander Albon. Down the back straight he comes out. Hulkenberg's in the pits. In P10, risking a biscuit there. He might be struggling there. Both Alpines are out. Gasly and Ocon are out. It's all about Alexander Albon then, because Alonso and Stroll are out. So it is all about Albon. Round the final corner he comes in. Go on, Alex. Go on, Alex. And, oh no, P14, he's out, Albon's out. So knocked out then in Q2, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Albon and Fernando Alonso. Hulkenberg and Tsunoda in the top 10 with the Mercedes, the McLarens, the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. Big up Tsunoda and Hulkenberg for getting through. But, yeah, Tsunoda and Hulkenberg, the standouts there. Hamilton with a great lap at the end to go P3. But yeah, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, big ups. They are both through. Stroll out in P11. Gasly out P12. Ocon out P13. Albon out P14. And Fernando Alonso out in P15. SHT, look away now. That is horrendous. Yeah. I don't know what the strat was there, going out on a used set of tyres when you need to set the fastest lap for the whole entire weekend. But they've got more information than I've got, so bit of a weird one nonetheless. But Leclerc was quickest at the end of that session then. Like I say, the fight for pole is on. Hopefully. Please. But yeah, Leclerc looking strong. Hamilton there with a lap out of the blue, really, to go P3. McLaren's were 4th and 6th. Perez sandwiched in the middle of that. Sainz through Russell. But yeah, big ups Yuki Tsunoda and Nico Hulkenberg beating the Aston Martins. Gasly and Ocon, not too bad, really, in 12th and 13th when you consider their early season pace. You know, they were on the back row of the grid, weren't they? Well, like 17th and 19th and stuff like that. So, looks like Alpine. Combination of Alpine and Albon. But yeah, looking like Alpine is starting to get it together a little bit. But yeah, I know. Charles first for now. Grey names in the pits. I think that's how it... Yeah. When the name's grey, they're in the pits. When it's white, they're out on track. Yeah, I think that's how it is. That's it, mate. And I think it actually says when they're coming into the pits. I think this is how many laps they've done, which is not really that relevant. But when they're coming into the pits, I think it actually says pit anyway. But yeah. I think so. What was scary? What's scary, CL2? But Mercedes obviously found a little bit of pace because they were both knocked out in Q2 yesterday, but they're both in Q3 today. And I'd take that as a grid right now, that top 10, to be honest. Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, top 3, bring on the race. But, of course, that's not how it works. from 11th down, that's all set in stone now. So from Stroll down, that is their grid positions for the Miami Grand Prix. The top 10 now go again. And let's see who gets pole position. Let's have a little review here with Anthony Davidson of what's happened to Fernando Alonso, who was 15th and last in that session. Let's have a look what happened to Fernando. Down to turn 11. Too wide there. And then it's lined him up wrong for turn 12. He's got a bit of an oversteer on the exit. Then he's coming into this tricky Mickey Mouse section here. Bouncing over the curb, not too bad. Lines it up. And then he's so wide there at turn 16. He's nearly in the wall. The understeer. Yeah. A bit scruffy, that. You can't blame that one on traffic. Not that I'm in any position to criticise Fernando Alonso, but it wasn't a great lap, was it? Shame. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't understand why they weren't on new tyres there anyway. Would they've used all the fresh set of tyres up in Q1? Surely not, but anyway. Yes, Away's welcome in, bro. Just in time for the pole position shootout, mate. Whether that was your intention or not, I don't know. But yeah, welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. You knew how to time it. You were like, I know it's going to be the last 12 minutes now, pole position shootout. I'll have a look at the stream. But yeah, it's about to get underway in a couple of minutes. Oh, let's see where... Yeah, I'd love to see Yuki Tsunoda in the top 6 here. I mean, obviously, I'd love like a Leclerc pole or a Hamilton pole or a Piastri or Norris or anybody pole other than the inevitable. But if we don't get that, I would like to see like a Tsunoda top 6 or Piastri top 3 I'd like as well. Yeah, let's have a Piastri top 3 or a Tsunoda top 6. I mean, Hulkenberg, you know, anything better than P9, and he's done an amazing job already to get into Q3 is, you know, above expectations. So, yeah, Hulkenberg, if Hulkenberg can do anything other than, any better than P9, amazing. But let's have a look at this. Let's have a look what Yuki Tsunoda can do. Tsunoda top 6, buzzing. Piastri top 3, buzzing. Leclerc pole, let's go. We'll have a look. Leclerc podiums. Yeah, podium happens all the time. He needs a win. Due one. Yeah. When was the last time Leclerc won a race? Would it be like Austria 22? Did Leclerc win a race in the second half of 22? I think it'd be like Austria 22. I mean, I might be wrong, but it's going to be like midway through 22, isn't it? The last time Leclerc won a race. I mean, Hamilton hasn't won a race since Saudi Arabia 21. That's got to sting, that, hasn't it? That's got to sting. Think he's got none. What? Leclerc? No, Leclerc's had a few wins. Leclerc's got about... At a rough guess, I think Leclerc's won about 6 or 7 Grand Prix. Something like that. He's won about 6, I think, Leclerc. It's Norris that hasn't won one. You might be getting mixed up. It's Norris that's massively overdue a win that he hasn't got one yet. So that's where you might be getting your wires twisted. But yeah, Leclerc's won a few. About 6 or 7. Oh, 5. Yeah, 5. Maybe 5. He won back-to-back in Belgium and Italy, I think, in like 2019. But yeah, anyway. Let's get into Q3. But yeah, Leclerc hasn't won for 2 years. Come on, I'd love to see Yuki Tsunoda getting in the mix here, outperforming the car. Here we go then with 9.5 minutes to go. We're going to get the first laps of Q3 underway, the banker lap, so to speak. That first sector in Miami, the first sector here is brilliant. Is there a Q4? No, this is it, man. This is it. Q3 is where the buck stops. Oh, look, that's a bit wide there from Lewis in turn 11. A little bit like what Fernando did. Just a little bit too late on the brakes. A little bit of understeer. Go on, Lewis. Stop it, Todd. He doesn't need any encouragement. I mean, if you want to be a Verstappen fan, that's fine. It's an easy ride. You know what I mean? You're going to have a good time in F1 being a Verstappen fan. You know, it's going to be a good time. Oh, go on, Lewis. Bye. He's on pole by half a second at the moment. Oh, Russell beats that, though. Boom. Half a second. Russell's gone 0.6 quicker than Hamilton. Okay. Who's leading this team next season? Sergio Perez beats them both, though, by 0.3. Red Bull have turned up. Leclerc's purple sector 1. Verstappen purple sector 2. And here comes Verstappen then to the line. And goes half a second quicker than his teammate. And 1.4 quicker than Hamilton in P4. Incredible. And Norris goes P3 on the mediums. What is going on with that strategy? Well, Leclerc goes second then. Only 1/10 off. 1/10 and a half. Okay. That's okay. And Sainz makes it Ferrari 2-3. Okay, so Verstappen pole at the moment on a 127.214. And Leclerc 1/10 and a half off that. Sainz 10th behind that. And Piastri goes P4. So it's Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren. The gap between Verstappen and Perez is too big there. And everyone's getting in between it. That's not what Red Bull need. It's not very... It's a tricky section. It's a tricky sector there. Got a boot full of oversteer. In turn 16 did Lewis. And that has put him 1.4 seconds off the pace. And Lando. Is that your favourites, is it? Verstappen and Norris. Even if you're Dutch, fun times. Oh, mate, you're chilling. Feet up, cigar, whiskey. Give a damn. You know what I mean? Yeah. Loving it. But even if you're a Verstappen fan, it's got to be a bit... You want him to be challenged, you know? You want him to be pushed. He has more competition in sim racing than he does in real life, does Verstappen. Mind you, though, having said that, this is pretty close. Pretty close. And Russell. Oh yeah, you're from the Netherlands. Yeah, he's chilling then. It's too easy, man. Do you think Verstappen will spend his entire career in Formula One though? Because I don't. I think what Verstappen will do is he'll have a second half of his career trying to win Le Mans and stuff like that, and just become an all-round. I think by the end of his career, Verstappen will go down as the greatest driver in history because he'll end up retiring with multiple F1 championships, multiple Le Mans wins, multiple endurance championship wins, and all the rest of it, and he'll just be. I don't think it'll just be Formula One World Championships. He'll be all rounder, A bit like Alonso's tried to do. Alonso prides himself on sort of being an all rounder and has done some IndyCar and stuff. And I think he's won the Rolex 24 at Daytona. I think he's won Sebring. F1 race too short. We need an endurance race. Yeah, he might go for Monaco Le Mans. Yeah, the Triple Crown. The elusive Triple Crown. I think only Graham Hill has got Monaco Grand Prix win, Le Mans 24-hour win, and Indy 500. The Triple Crown. I think a couple of drivers have got 2 out of 3. I think Juan Pablo Montoya's got 2, but he hasn't got Le Mans. I think Alonso might have 2. Has Alonso won Le Mans and he just hasn't got Indy 500? I think Montoya's got Indy 500 and Monaco. So he hasn't got Le Mans and he won't do now. I think it's only Graham Hill that's won all 3. Maybe Max Verstappen can be the next man to do it. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the final 2.5 minutes of Q3 to set the grid for, set the top 10 positions for the Miami Grand Prix then. Let's have a look. Mercedes then coming out of the pits with 2 minutes to go. Are they on the mediums? What is this about? Different strategies going on here in qualifying with regards to tyres. Usually it's just a slam dunk. You get the soft tyres on, and but different ideas going on, which is unusual, really, in quali. Interesting. Let's have a look how it plays out. I hope Ferrari can put a fight on here. I hope anyone can put a fight on. Ken Miles. Ken Miles is... they did that film about him, didn't they? Ferrari versus Ford, or... That's a good film, that. Christian Bale played Ken Miles. Good film, that. Right, let's have a look. Charles Leclerc. It looks like a toy car, that Ferrari, with the red and the pale blue. It looks like a Hot Wheels car or something. It looks like a toy. It's just not right, is it? It's just a weird looking livery, that. But if he goes pole position, I don't care. If he beats Max and we get an interesting first few laps of the race tomorrow, then bring it on. You can race in whatever colours you want. Let's have some competition. Oh, Verstappen, 84 thousandths of a second quicker. Purple, sector 1. as the time ticks down to 0 and we get the final laps in. He's only missing Le Mans. Oh, wow, yeah, they screwed him over, didn't they, for that? But yeah, let's have a look. So Russell just about makes it over the line before the time runs out then to complete the lap. They're going slower. They're not on personal bests. They're not on personal bests. Nobody is. Leclerc's slower in sector 1. Sainz is slower. Verstappen's slower in the middle sector. Oh, and look at this. Leclerc drifting round turn 15. Wow. I wonder if the track's going off. Is the track too hot? Yeah, or is the track cooling down? Whatever happens, I think the track's going off. I think they've had the best of it. These times aren't quicker. Verstappen's not improved. Norris has beat his teammate for now. Well, Piastri's already crossed the line, so Norris has beat Piastri. But here comes Leclerc. I tell you what, none of them are improving. This is the grid. That's the grid. That's it. Sainz has gone slower. They've all got... I mean, what an anticlimax this is. On the final flying laps, they've all gone slower. Are you kidding me? No. Go on, Lewis. Do something. Okay, P8. What are Tsunoda and Hülkenberg doing? George Russell's going to be the last one across the line. Tsunoda and Hülkenberg, I don't even think they tried. Oh, my goodness me. And there you go. It was the first laps with the laps. Verstappen takes pole position. Of course. Then it's Ferrari 2-3. So, obviously, Verstappen on pole. Then Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Norris, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton. I don't even think Hülkenberg and Tsunoda left the garage. If they did, I missed it. So they're 9th and 10th. But it was the first laps of Q3 that were quicker. I don't know if the track temperature was going down as the you know, the day's getting later, it's getting a little bit cooler, or where maybe for whatever reason, the first laps in Q3 were the laps. 38 pole positions for Max Verstappen now. Yeah. There we go. That's it. Hamilton, LOL. What did I say I wanted? Tsunoda top 6, GG's. Piastri top 3, GG's. Anyone but Max on pole, GG's. I had 3 wishes. The genie's not granted me my 3 wishes. Oh, well. Well, it is what it is. You just got to... in a way, you've got to admire it. He is unbeatable at the moment, as we know. Keep swapping tyres when the tyres are warmed. I don't know what the reason is, but... yeah, it was an unusual final flurry in Q3 there. They were all going slower. So it is what it is. So Verstappen on pole for the Miami Grand Prix. It's Charles Leclerc joining him on the front row. That's quite common, isn't it, these days? The Verstappen-Leclerc front row, I feel like it happens more than half of the time. So it is the case in Miami as well. The Verstappen-Leclerc front row, Sainz just behind that. Then Perez and the 2 McLarens of Norris ahead of Piastri, Russell, Hamilton. Disappointing for Mercedes, really. Although better than yesterday in sprint qualifying when they were 11th and 12th and now 7th and 8th. Improving. Hülkenberg 9th, Tsunoda 10th, and then the rest of the grid. Obviously there, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Alonso down in P15. That's got to be the biggest disappointment of the day. Bottas, Sargent, Ricciardo from the highs of sprint quali and the sprint race. P4 in the sprint for Ricciardo. P18 on the grid for the race tomorrow. The troughs and the peaks of Daniel Ricciardo's career. But yeah, cheers Dougie, Chrissy, CL2, Todd, Who else was in chat towards the beginning? Waze popped in. Cheers, mate. Brownie was in earlier on. Mitch, as always. JJ and Suede, if I didn't already say it. Carl was in at the beginning as well. And Chrissy, Salty Dog as well. But yeah, cheers, guys. I'll be live for the Miami Grand Prix at 8:30 p.m. UK time tomorrow. 9 o'clock for Lights Out. If you don't know, hear me waffling on for half an hour, 9 o'clock's the time to join for the 3, 2, 1, and away we go. But yeah, cheers. I will see you all tomorrow for the Miami Grand Prix. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and we'll see where we go after the race on Sunday. But big ups to everybody, and catch you tomorrow. It is, of course, the inevitable on pole position, but let's look forward to the race. Hopefully a good one. Cheers, guys.